than 4 years after sales of its more conventional siblings began, a third body style was added in the form of the Land Rover Range Rover Evoque convertible. This isn't simply the existing 3-door Range Rover Evoque coupe with its roof lopped off. Significant re-engineering has been undertaken to ensure both the integrity of its open-top design, as well as to preserve its off-roading capability. As a premium convertible SUV, it has no direct rivals, yet. Land Rover expects around 20% of sales will be existing Evoque owners wanting a replacement model that offers something different, and cites the Audi A5 Cabriolet, BMW 4 Series convertible and Mercedes-Benz C-Class Cabriolet as its primary rivals. Extensive convertible bodywork re-engineering to bolster its rigidity for on- and off-road driving. The Range Rover Evoque convertible's underpinnings have been significantly strengthened, which in turn adds almost 280 kilograms to its heft compared with the coupe version. In addition to supplementary bracing in the floor and windscreen surround, the soft-top Evoque's stronger doors are unique, too. Plus, there's a rollover protection device, RPD, which deploys 2 aluminium hoops behind the rear passengers' heads within 90 milliseconds if sensors detect the Range Rover's about to turn upside down. Featuring the largest fabric roof yet produced, the Range Rover Evoque convertible's top can be electrically lowered in 18 seconds and raised in 21, all at speeds of up to 30 miles per hour. Practicality suffers with the Evoque's transition into the realms of convertibledom. It's a strict 4-seater, and at 251 litres the boot's some 169 litres short of the coupe's. Its top-hinged boot lid makes access awkward, but there is an optional ski hatch for longer loads. High-power petrol and diesel engines sitting at the top of the range. The Land Rover Range Rover Evoque convertible is only available with a restricted choice of the 180 horsepower 2.0 TD4 Ingenium diesel unit or the 2.0-litre C4 petrol engine in 240 horsepower and 290 horsepower outputs. Both are paired to the familiar 9-speed automatic gearbox driving all 4 wheels. Off-road excursions prove that the convertible is a bona fide Land Rover over rougher terrain and is no less capable than other Evoques despite its lack of roof. That additional weight means both performance and efficiency suffer compared with the hardtop Evoques. However, the TD4's 0 to 62 miles per hour sprint is 1.3 seconds slower in the convertible than in the coupe, while CO2 emissions are also inferior to the hardtops, jumping from 129 grams/km to 149 grams/km. The C4 petrol's quicker, but with a claimed average fuel economy of 32.9 miles per gallon and emissions of 201 grams/km. It's only a sensible choice if you cover low annual mileages. Luxuriously appointed, refined hood up or down in line with its position at the pinnacle of the Range Rover Evoque hierarchy, the new convertible will only come in high-end HSE Dynamic and HSE Dynamic Lux trims. Featuring the upgraded interior hardtop Evoques enjoyed from their midlife facelift, with increased use of leather for the dashboard and door panels, the convertible also debuted the 10.2-inch in-control Touch Pro infotainment system in a Land Rover. The Evoque convertible's version also features displays for off-roading functions, such as wading depth when traversing rivers. The verdict: the Evoque convertible offers niche appeal to many buyers. However, a soft-top version of Range Rover's most popular, most fashionable model is bound to succeed. It's got curb appeal and an excellent interior, and its ability to properly venture off-road is unique for a luxurious, 4-seat drop-top. In becoming a convertible, though, its practicality and driving involvement have taken a hit. Read the full Land Rover Range Rover Evoque convertible review to see whether this boutique soft-top remains true to the brand's core values. Only one petrol and one diesel from launch convertibles. Extra weight blunts performance efficiency is hurt by the additional heft, two sitting at the pinnacle of the lineup. The Range Rover Evoque convertible comes with a more limited engine lineup compared with the hardtop, a high-power diesel, which is expected to account for the bulk of UK sales, and a petrol alternative, best suited to those who cover fewer miles each year, available in 2 power outputs. Regardless of which engine you choose, all Evoque convertibles are fitted with the 9-speed automatic transmission and 4-wheel drive as standard. One diesel engine Land Rover fitted its 2.0-litre Ingenium diesel engine into the Range Rover Evoque shortly before the convertible's arrival, so it's a natural fit for this derivative. Available with 180 horsepower in TD4 form, this unit musters 430 Nm of torque from a usefully low 1,750 revolutions per minute. It's a refined power plant, not being especially audible even with the roof down, and its smoothness complements the slick shifting automatic gearbox superbly. Unfortunately, it's not all good news because it's hauling around 277 kilograms more weight thanks to the convertible's extra strengthening to preserve its stiffness. Both performance and efficiency are dulled compared with the Coupe edition. Land Rover quotes a top speed of 121 miles per hour, but at 10.3 seconds the convertible's 0 to 62 miles per hour sprint time is some 1.3 seconds shy of the Coupe's. It's a similar story with efficiency. For the TD4 convertible, Land Rover claims 49.6 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions of 149 grams/km. The same engine in the Coupe is quoted at 57.6 miles per gallon and 129 grams/km of CO2. Two petrol options. The petrol-fueled alternative engine is badge C4 and comes in two power outputs. However, on paper statistics suggest they're better suited to Land Rover owners who don't cover high annual mileages. Like the Ingenium diesel, it's also a 2.0-litre, four-cylinder, turbocharged unit. First up is a 240 horsepower version, with a higher top speed of 130 miles per hour quoted, while 0 to 62 miles per hour acceleration is down to 8.6 seconds. There's 340 Nm of torque available from a diesel engine like 1,750 revolutions per minute. Running costs are its downfall, though. Land Rover quotes an official average fuel consumption of 32.9 miles per gallon with CO2 emissions of 201 grams/km of CO2. If that's not enough, a faster 290 horsepower version of the same engine joins the lineup in August 2017. Convertible feels agile compared with other SUVs. Four-wheel drive system is only engaged when needed. Sporty suspension setup means ride quality on the firm side. People don't tend to buy SUVs for their on-road handling prowess, but the Range Rover Evoque's been held in high regard for this quality. In most respects, the convertible doesn't suffer due to its lack of roof, either. Thread the Range Rover Evoque convertible through a series of backroad bends and it stays faithful to the cornering lines you've intended, thanks in no small part to its optional on TD4 models, active driveline system. With active driveline, under normal circumstances the engine's power is sent to the front wheels, but as soon as the Evoque's onboard electronics sense additional traction would be beneficial, the rear wheels are engaged and power is metered out accordingly. Cornering is further enhanced by torque vectoring by braking, TVBB, whereby the inside wheels are gently braked to significantly reduce the likelihood of the Evoque washing wide into understeer through bends. There's a reasonable degree of steering feel at the wheel and it's sensibly weighted, heavy enough to feel meaty yet light enough for off-road dalliances not to resemble an in-car gym session. Take those corners at speed and there's a pleasant, reassuring balance about the Evoque convertible, with minimal body roll, the additional weight caused by the strengthening bracing benefiting the Range Rover's low center of gravity. The downside of that extra heft is that the Evoque's already firm ride is even more noticeable in the convertible, especially over deeper ruts. It doesn't tip it into the uncomfortable bracket, but you do find yourself moving around within your lane to avoid ironworks and other surface imperfections. Cabin feels upmarket with leather trim all round and Control Touch Pro big multimedia improvement lowering the roof adds to the off-road experience inside. The Range Rover Evoque convertible enjoys the same interior upgrades introduced on the 5-door and coupe models as part of the 2016 refresh. That means the door panels and dashboard are swathed in leather with contrasting stitching, but the instruments are now devoid of their jewel-like markers. Debuting, for Land Rover, in the Evoque convertible is the 10.2-inch Control Touch Pro multimedia system, complete with satellite photo mapping, crisp graphics and a generally slick operation. You won't need repeated finger prods to access different menus. Where the system folds down is not so much in how it's used but the angle it sits at within the dashboard. Roof up, it's rarely an issue, but lower the hood on a bright day and the sun beats down on it, rendering its display next to useless. Some kind of cowling would aid visibility but would uglify the otherwise classy interior. You've a commanding view of the road ahead thanks to the elevated driving position, but roof down you do feel even more on show, especially in urban areas. Conversely, when you are exploring off-road, the rooflessness adds to the Evoque convertible's appeal as you hear the tires squelching through muddy patches in their quest for traction and windfall branches cracking under its wheels. Visibility's great roof down and decent enough with it up, the large mirrors ensuring you don't feel vulnerable on models not fitted with blind spot monitoring kit. Cabin is roomy for a 4-seater convertible. but it's noticeably tighter than other Evoques. Refinement with the roof up impresses sitting up front in the Range Rover Evoque convertible. With the roof down and the wind deflector up, the delights of soft-top motoring can be enjoyed in a comfortable setting. Not only are the soft high-trimmed seats cosseting, they offer a great range of adjustment, which allows you to feel supported yet relaxed. A fine combination. Almost every surface your fingers caress feels expensive and well made, from the leather-trimmed door panels to the chunkily rimmed steering wheel. Sure, a few buttons and switches feel a bit lower end, notably the window lifts, but overall it's a comfortable place to be. Climb into the back and things are comfortable but inescapably on the snug side. The roof mechanism has forced the rear seat to be narrower, making the convertible a strict four-seater. It's fine for two burly passengers width-wise, but the front seats have to be pushed forwards more than is ideal for taller drivers for rear legroom to be classed as generous. Roof down, it's blustery sat in the back. When the roof is raised, all four occupants will be impressed by how refined and quiet the interior becomes, thanks to the multi-layered hood. There's negligible wind noise, and even heavy rain bouncing off the soft top didn't sound like 100 drums being beaten in unison. You'll experience a sharpness to the ride quality over deeper ruts and imperfections in the road surface. It does take the edge off the overall comfort levels, especially as the body can take a while to re-establish its equilibrium over a series of ruts. Smoother surfaces equal happier passengers. Lots of high-end equipment fitted to Lux model regular HSE dynamic spec feels somewhat lacking wide range of options and accessories available as befitting a car sitting at the top of its family tree. The Range Rover Evoque convertible is only available in two of the highest two trim levels, HSE Dynamic and HSE Dynamic Lux. Standard Range Rover Evoque convertible equipment. Although HSE Dynamic is near the top of the coupe and 5-door range hierarchy, it's the entry-level point for the convertible lineup. That doesn't mean it's a poverty spec special. An electrically heated windscreen, front and rear parking sensors, a reversing camera, folding door mirrors, xenon headlamps and 20-inch alloy wheels are part of the package, as are Narvik black bonnet vents, front grille and other exterior details. Open the wide doors to the inviting cabin and you'll spot illuminated tread plates in the sills, 12-way electrically adjustable front seats with memory functions, configurable mood lighting and the new 10.2-inch widescreen and Control Touch Pro multimedia system. DAB radio, Bluetooth connectivity, cruise control and a fully electric soft top complemented by all-round electric windows are also part of the equipment roster. Petrol engine C4 derivatives also come with the active driveline package for the four-wheel drive system. Topping the Evoque convertible range is HSE Dynamic Lux, which is the one to go for if you can stretch to the extra outlay. Why? Primarily because it adds in many of the desirable options that make living with the baby Range Rover all the more enjoyable. There's an automatic parking system with 360-degree camera coverage, blind spot monitoring with lane keeping assist to help prevent you wandering out of your lane, keyless entry and automatic headlamps. Arguably its two biggest advantages over the HSE Dynamic are the ski hatch between the rear seats to allow the convertible to swallow long loads and a very effective wind deflector. Like other convertibles, when the deflectors in situ the rear seats can't be occupied. Optional Range Rover Evoque convertible extras. As with the hardtop Range Rover Evoques, the convertible's available with selection of personalization options, although your soft top color will remain black. There are a number of metallic paint options, refreshingly many of which won't cost you a penny extra, while you can also choose between several two-tone leather alternatives and a glossy blackwood veneer in lieu of the metallic silver dashboard trims. We're not convinced by the stick-on decals you can have adorning the bonnet and sides of the Evoque convertible. To our eyes they cheapen the classy look of the car. Many of the other options are designed to bring the HSE Dynamic trim up to Lux levels, but there are a number of additional extras to boost the overall specification. There's a black design pack which embellishes the Evoque's exterior with more Narvik black detailing, as well as giving the front and rear lights a darkened, aggressive finish. Onboard technology can be boosted with wade sensing for when you're driving through water up to 500 mm deep and a head-up display system. To be frank, this is not one of the better systems on the market, so save your money. You can also add an infrared reflective windscreen, a heated steering wheel and premium carpet mats as part of your factory order. Plus there's a raft of dealer-fit accessories such as tow bars and Union flag pattern door mirror housings. Safety levels should match the hard-roofed Evoque's extra strengthening braces maintain rigidity levels, rollover protection calibrated to prevent accidental deployment for the most part, Range Rover Evoque convertible safety will mirror that of the hard-roofed coupe variant, with a host of active and passive safety systems installed. Where the convertible differs most noticeably is the protection it offers passengers in the unlikely event of it coming to a rest upside down. As fitted to other convertibles, a pair of rollover bars pop up from behind the rear seats in the event the car's onboard sensors detect a roll is likely. However, because the Evoque convertible will be subjected to a greater range of angles when off-roading, the systems had to be recalibrated to monitor for the suddenness of any out of their ordinary measurements, effectively preventing their unintended deployment. Boot space is around half that of the Evoque coupe boot lid further restricts access to the convertible. Ski hatch is a useful feature but not standard on all four-seater soft tops are really panaceas of practicality, and in this regard the Range Rover Evoque convertible remains true to type. Yes, it's practical in the sense that it's got more off-roading ability than any other convertible currently on the market, but in terms of space for passengers and their belongings, it lags behind the three-door Evoque coupe sibling. You lose one seating position, there's less legroom in the back, and at 251 litres the boot's almost half the size of the coupe's 550-litre low-outby. Accessing that space is made all the more awkward by the Evoque convertible's boot lid itself. It's hinged at the top but doesn't flip 180 degrees out of the way, requiring you to scuttle underneath it to post your soft bags through the letterbox-like aperture. More elegant, but admittedly more expensive, solutions would have been to cantilever the lid in a vertical direction, or, paying homage to the top-flat Range Rover, a drop-down solution, with a sliding floor to push your luggage into the space. Smallness aside, the convertible's boot remains the same volume regardless of whether the hood's been erected. Want to carry longer, more slender items, such as skis for those alpine jaunts? Then the appropriately named ski hatch behind the rear center armrest will be a godsend. Just be aware it's not standard on the HSE dynamic models. Elsewhere the cabin's dotted with littered cubbies, decently sized door bins, and a not especially useful open slot behind the center console. Put something in there and the chances are it'll be a case of out of sight, out of mind. The Evoque convertible is quite a compact car, shorter than most of its closest rivals. That means it doesn't feel unwieldy on tighter roads, making it a pleasant and easy car to drive around town. The only downside is the visibility. In becoming a convertible, there's much less glass around the car to see out, especially at the back, so you'll be thankful for all the sensors and cameras to help when parking.